Back again. So where we left off on the triplets video, I said we were going to focus on shuffles because that's the next evolutionary step. When you work on triplets, you probably should apply them to shuffles. This is the real world application therein. Okay, so swing pattern, right hand. Nothing real crazy about that. Left hand. Just fill in the gaps. So the sticking pattern is going to be right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left. Okay? Now, what you're going to want to do is accent your downbeats. Okay? Easy. Now, looking back on the triplet videos, we looked at a couple of flam rudiments. That's where this is going to come into play. Okay? So, on 2 and 4, snare drum backbeat, you're going to double up. You don't have to do that double hit. It's kind of hard to police. It's easier to do it at higher speeds, but you got to start slow to get there. For me, it's just easier to keep the continuity of the triplet figures going. But they should be implied more than heard. Okay? Now, adding the next part. Bass drum. 1 and 3. Really slow it down and really look at these mechanics before you start building it up to speed. Okay? Once you get that, congratulations. That's the Fisher-Price My First Shuffle. Alright? Now, I say that as though it were easy. It's really not. You got to work at it because the flow and feel is everything on shuffles. And you know it when it feels bad because you yourself feel bad for letting that go out into the world, and rightfully so. Shuffles have to be done right, and you got to get comfortable with triplets to build up to this. And you got to start slow to build up to be able to do them fast and confidently, which again applies to the feel of how they should be played. There should be a authority behind it. That comes with time and practice. No surprises there. No shortcuts either, unfortunately. So, practice. But you can do a lot of things with these. You don't have to do it just at that halftime kind of feel, that I was just playing. There is also, a more staying in line with how that downbeat is. Notice the hands don't really change. It's just the backbeat and the placement therein changes, okay? It's not really, complicated in the mechanics. What's complicated is the feel. And that's not something you can really describe or explain. You just know when it feels right and you know when it feels wrong. And on a good day, I know I can feel it. It just, everything is just pouring out of me the way it should. Effortless. On a bad day, oh man, I'm really having to pay attention to all these little nuances that are happening within this to make it seem like it feels right, but in my soul it doesn't feel right. But at least I limped through the show and everybody was happy, even though I'm not. But that's beside the point. It inspires me to do it again, to do it right, because I don't like something to leave a bad taste in my mouth where shuffles are related, because I'm better than that. So keep that in mind. When you're doing these, you just got to keep telling yourself, I'm better than this, I'm better than this, and become better. That's life, really, isn't it? Notable examples. We're going to move on a little bit because that got a little deep, and my apologies for that. But it's true. Doesn't change the fact that it's true. Notable shuffles. Bernard Purdie. Do a Google search for Bernard Purdie. Look him up on YouTube. Watch him. It's amazing. I mean, he's basically the godfather of the modern shuffle as we know it. And there is nobody on planet Earth that can play a shuffle like Bernard Purdie. I mean, he makes it so effortless. And that's a great one to study. I think, if I recall correctly, he was the original drummer that laid down the track for Babylon Sisters for Steely Dan. And that's the shuffle he used right there. It's the Bernard Purdie halftime shuffle, also known as just the Purdie shuffle. And oh man, that one's tight. Very similar to what I just played. Nothing really, really, really complicated. The complicated part is the nuances therein and the feel, getting the feel right. And that just takes doing it over and over and over again. Fool in the Rain by Led Zeppelin. John Bonham does basically a variation of that same shuffle. I don't know who did it first necessarily. I'm pretty sure that Bernard did it earlier. But that Fool in the Rain shuffle is very similar, almost identical in a lot of aspects. It's got some different bass drum patterns there. Yeah, that's a great one to try and get under your hands, because you kind of get introduced to the bass drum not just being so static, which leads me to Rosanna. Okay, so that's by Toto, of course, and Jeff Porcaro basically took Fool in the Rain and Bernard Purdie's shuffle, stuck them together, added like this little swing figure on the bass drum. So there's a lot happening with the bass drum, and chucked it up to like Mach 9, and then wow, there's so much happening in there. Let's see if I can butcher that for you real quick. I'm not going to go any further than that because that was actually okay. So, but yeah, on a good day I can nail that. On a bad day, oh, man, I struggle with that one. I'm probably always going to struggle with it, and that's basically what I want to leave you with, is that this is always going to be something you're going to struggle with. You're going to have your good days, you're going to have your bad days, but that's no excuse to not practice it and to try and at least get presentable with it. because it can only further your career and make you a better overall drummer. So stop listening to me right now. Go practice. That's how you get good. See ya.